Hey guys, I gotta make a video about the SWR plots. Right now, I'm babysitting my sister's little dear Layla. That's Layla. Nancy adopted Layla last fall, and she'd been through several rehoming attempts. And when Nancy adopted dear little Nibs, as I call her, NIBS, short for Niblet, because she's so small. And I also call her Bobbin, a miniature spool of thread, isn't it? And never to be left alone, we have good boy Blitzy. Hey Blitzy, we're gonna make a video, aren't we? But before I'm all set up basically to. I've got the cord plugged in, ready to upload, transfer the video to the laptop. Problem is, there's no video to transfer. I haven't made the SWR video yet. I am crossing off items on my list, my take list. The SWR plots are in there, and it's still closed. You know what, man? I got to go to Dayton, Ohio to take my brother Art to his last cancer surgery. He has one more tumor, a nasty one. The location is problematic. And they'll be doing a laser ablation tomorrow morning. And so later this afternoon after dinner, I'll be going to take dear brother Art. So hang on, Matt, before I refuse to talk about anything serious until I bullshit. I'm going to mount you on the tripod. Hang on. Okay, guys. You want to see something that's a hoot, man? Let me get a proper tab. I don't want to use Google. I already know Google will find it. Let's use DuckDuckGo. I've got to reach around you, try not to whack you again. What do you think will happen if I start typing Michigan cacti? I think this is a grin. Whoop, yeah, oh, come on, man. Now I can't find the Bex. Boy, you try doing this around a Michigan C. Second one in the list. Michigan C gets me Michigan cacti. Yeah, Michigan Burger King. Let me type A C T Michigan cacti antenna. Oh man, hang on. Hey man, one more thing. Let's choose Michigan cacti antenna and choose the videos tab. I find that a hoot, man. It's all my garbage. I've stumbled across a garbage pit, a dump, a landfill. Gonna be no editing this video, no happy little music outros, I'm afraid. This video is all about my 7-tap, multi-tap unun, or as some call it, a yun. And it's the SWR plots using that unun. On the harmonically related bands, and I'll also connect it to my SWR analyzer and show you another little treat. Hang on. I think these good boys gotta take a leak. Come on, Blitzy, you wanna go outside? Layla, you wanna go outside? Come on, let's go. Come on, Layla. You want? Go on. Good boy, Blitzy. Go on, Layla. Woohoo! Let's go outside. Here she comes. Little Layla didn't want to come out, did she, Blitzy? You know what, man? Ooh, it's starting to sprinkle. I got something to show you, man. I was going to pause you, but why would I want to do that when you can watch blitzing? Is that right, Blitzy? Come on, Blitzy. Maybe I'll find some poo to eat. Oh, I can't show that. That ain't right, man. Oh, I stepped in a pile. I'm not going to zoom you in right there, man. I'm going to smell nice in the hospital with Art tomorrow with my brand new shoes on. I'm glad we came out here, man. Now, I'm supposed to be emptying Mr. Brinley. You see, he's filling with water and using it to fill in more of there, right? The last time I did, you can barely tell. It'll even out. Come on, Blitzy. I got a shoe to wash. It's raining, Blitzy. Let's get out of here. Come on, Layla. Go on, Blitzy. Hey, check this out, guys. Before we get on to the SWR plots, I gotta point something out to you, man. Let me find an appropriate pointing device. Boom. Not too many booms coming out of Tiger Bats this year, though, I'm afraid. Oh, I heard a POTA operator this morning. You hear all types, man. Now, my man here sounded like he was, like he's been an amateur radio operator for about 5 minutes at the most. And I heard him, he wasn't using ham language. I listened to him for a little while, and I could tell he wasn't like a guest operator. What the hell? Come on, man. One moment. Man, this is a fucking nightmare. Sorry. This is a freaking nightmare. I got a call, incoming call, and it pops up a message right in the middle of my video window. I assume it's going to be in the video, and you'll be able to see the phone number. And who cares, man? I'm not editing it out. I want to upload this before I leave today, and it'll take all night long because I won't shut up. Where was I? My man here, he sounded like he'd been a ham for about 2 minutes, and I couldn't believe he was a POTA activator calling amateur radio operator, and this is the thing. He said calling amateur radio operators, calling any amateur radio operators, I'm Kilo 3 blah blah. He wasn't a 3, wasn't a kilo either. Calling amateur radio operators, I'm Kilo 3 blah blah. Who's next? I've never in my life heard a POTA activator say, who's next? You know, I usually went with something like CQ POTA, CQ POTA, CQ POTA. Calling CQ Parks on the air, CQ POTA, this is November 8, November Kilo, November 8, November Kilo, in Park Kilo, blah, 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 blah. Then I just say, go ahead. and who's next? After I worked a call, I usually jotted down 3 or 4 in a row, right? And I just rifle them off, okay? Ending in Romeo. And after I worked a Romeo, Kilo 1 Echo something, go ahead. And when I exhaust my list, I'm like QRZ, Parks on the air, N8NK, QRZ. I did that my first time out. I ran home to mommy, but to the cemetery. And he also used this phrase, not this is, but I am Kilo 3 blah blah. Is anyone else out there? You're not CQ POTA or, QRZ. This is QRZ. This is. I'm Kilo 3. I'm getting excited. I dropped my bat. Hang on. And not to be out. And what did I think about all this, man? If he's been a ham for 1 minute flat, good for him. It was nice to hear something out of the ordinary for a change. My man here, good for him, man. Sounded like he was having fun, and I'm glad he did. Now then, on to the... I'm not a stodgy old bastard. I'm an old bastard, but I'm not stodgy, and I'm open-minded. My man here was operating mobile. 1,500 watts mobile. Second time I've heard that. And he was talking about his difficulty with his setup because of his poor internet connection in his vehicle. He said, "Now I need at least 5-6 megabytes up. Shit, I've got Comcast here. I can do 250 megabytes per second down, megabits per second down. You wish megabytes, or is it? Who knows? Who gives a shit?" He said, I need 5 or 6, or was it 6 or 7 meg down up, and I forget what he said he needs for an upload speed. And I'm like, what the hell? And then he got to talking. He's got a Wi-Fi router in the car, and he's running a Maestro head. I think that's a Flex product. It's a front-end head connected to the internet in his car, connected to his Flex box on his desktop at home, which was receiving on a remote, or as he called it, an SDR. Boy, did I leave a snarky comment on EHAM the other day. Just, not snarky, just being a smartass. In fun, you know? In fun, as a college student says. Wondering what an SDR is, you know? Is it a black box on your desktop? Is it an ICOM 7300? And then I said, remember the madness? I said, right here on EHAM, the ICOM 7300 was declared the perfect rig, and that there is no longer any need for HF transceiver engineering. I better go see what Blitzy wants, and I'll set up the SWR curves. Hang on. And yeah, I knew it. My friends are back with me. I had to open the door. Hang on, I'll set up the plots. The plots get big. Blitzy was just choking, wasn't he, Layla? Yeah, you okay, Blitzy? You're a good boy. Okay, here we are, exactly 13 minutes in, and I finally got to the SDR plots. Really, Chuck? Grab a pointer here. I'm a little bit confused by some of the commercial end-fed half-wave products. One being by, not Par end-feds, it's Chameleon. I saw a review on it on EHAM recently. And I must apologize for the background noise. I have a fan running next to me. I have one running in the other room because it's smoking hot today in Michigan and so muggy I'm about to die again. And so I'm a little confused by that product because it has a coil, an inductor. I don't know how far down the wire it is. I don't know its purpose. But what I have here are the SWR plots on my 80 meter end-fed half-wave using my 7-tap multi-tap Unon. And these are the plots for 80 meters, 40 meters, and 20 meters. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'll show you what I found on 10 meters using my SWR analyzer. And as I've mentioned, as I've shown you, I have an extension wire. Here, I'm going to pick you up. I hate to do this, but what are you going to do, man? That white wire is the lead-in from my end-fed, 80 meter end-fed. Follow that black wire. It loops up to right there, comes back down, connects to the unknown. I do that to give myself 80 meter options, and I'll show you on the graph. One moment. Okay, that's about the best I can straighten things up on this miserable camera. I take my glasses off and the aspect ratio looks terrible, man. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Put the glasses back on, make sure it's reasonably straight. Okay. The blue line is 80 meters, okay? You see how I have two overlapping? That point there is where I would take off the extension wire, okay? If you look at the bottom of the band, 3.5 megahertz, my SWR was 1.4 to 1. You go up to about the QRP watering hole and it's flat. SWR is flat, 1 to 1. As you go up from there, you hit the digital watering hole and it's about 1.4 to 1. And you continue up. I noted here at 3650, remove the extension, change to tap 7. Okay. For the CW portion, you use the extension, tap 8. Okay? Use the extension. You always use the extension to drop the resonant frequency down, obviously. But at 3650, you remove the extension and change to tap 7. And then you can, and your standing wave ratio at that point is about 1.75 to 1. Okay, that's the highest it'll get there, and you make the change with your wire. The SWR starts heading back down as you approach the new resonant frequency with the change in the tap and the removal of the extension wire, and you'll end up with an SWR of about 1.1 to 1, and the frequency there is about 3750-ish. And as you continue up the band, up you go, and I made a note here, at 3950 the SWR is 2.5 to 1. At 4 megahertz it's 3 to 1. Okay, so there's a YouTuber that I really like who does John Deere stuff, and guy knows his stuff, man, and he's great, got some great, but he has a bad habit of saying the word so too much, so, and he pronounces it so. He'll be talking normally and then so. It's like, oh God, please stop that. I noted here the SWR was 2 to 1 at 3890, 2.5 to 1 at 3950, and 3 to 1 at 4 megahertz. Okay, so that's the performance on 80 meters. It takes you from the very bottom of the band to the very top of the band with an SWR of 3 to 1 or less, and it usually is much less. With my Yaesu rig, I generally won't run the internal tuner unless it starts cranking back power at about 1.9 to 1 or 2 to 1. I don't want it cranking back power. As long as it doesn't do that, if I engage the internal tuner, it will output less power. It has to. You're adding a layer of inefficiency in that output filter, you know. You don't want to, and I just don't want the loss. Why would I? I proved it in another video. I did exactly that. And when I engaged the rig's internal tuner, the signal strength on my signal strength meter dropped. SWR jumped up to about 1.8 to 1, and the power went up with it. The radiated power, as indicated on a field strength meter. Sorry about that, man. But that blue line is the performance on 80 meters when I use my jumper wire and change to a different tap. Okay, so Ooh, I almost did it again. So, let's talk about 40 meters, the yellow line. I used tap number 4, no tuner, cover the whole band. Let's see, boy, I don't remember if that was with the extension. I screwed up and did not write that down here. I assume with it. I can check. No, I can't check. I can't transmit. Well, I can check with my SWR meter. Remember, I'm not a ham. I don't know if I'm worthy of being one anymore. I say that semi-seriously. So here's the bottom of the band. Here's the top of the band at 7,300, okay? At the very top of the band, I've got an SWR of 1.6 to 1. Is that right? Yep. At the bottom of the band, SWR of 1.3 to 1. Tap number 4. So far, we've used tap number 8, tap number 7, and tap number 4. Okay? Now let's look at the 20 meter band in orange. Whole band, no tuner, but I had to use, or I chose to use, a 10-inch long extension and tap number 2. So now we've used 4 taps. Tap number 2, tap number 4, tap number 7, and tap number 8. Okay? 20 meters, whole band, no tuner needed. Highest SWR is at the bottom of the band, 1.7 to 1. Drops to a best of about 1.3 to 1. And at the top of 20 meters, it rises to 1.4 to 1. So that's the performance of the end-fed half wave on those bands, harmonically related bands of 80 meters, which it is cut for, and 40 meters and 20 meters. Okay, Blitzy, I'm going to pause you and get out my SWR analyzer. One moment. Okay, you'll see that I'm still using that extension wire that loops up and comes back to the 80 meter end fed, okay? Okay, I got to make this quick. I got to wrap this up because I got to get going. I got to get finished packing and get going to see my dear brother Art, take him for his surgery. Looks like I got to get used to looking at the object I'm recording, not the camera. Looks like that's the best match on 30 meters. 10.1, bottom of the band. There you go. Almost very little reactance. Very little. The wire's swinging in the breeze out there, but nearly a 50 ohm match and almost non-reactive. Using tap number 2 and the extension, so that's it. That's about all I've got for now. And that's all I've got for now. A gift from a friend. I'm not religious. I won't go there on my channel. I don't do religion or politics on at the landfill. And I'll never judge anybody for doing so. I'll never judge anybody, period. And as far as religion and God, if I ever use the word God, it's synonymous with Mother Nature, or the life force, or spirituality. Am I spiritual? Well, let me ask you something, man. Would you be if you met a dead person in the hospital that strolled past you on a burning hot summer August night at an old hospital in Detroit, Michigan, in the oldest part of the basement where there were no stairwells, no entrances, no exits? Far down at one end of the hallway was nuclear oncology, where the particle accelerator was. And if you go the other way, about 50 yards down the hall, was a little side corridor leading down to the morgue. She walked past me this burning hot summer night. It was going on midnight, and it was so goddamned hot I had to go home. I wanted to go home. I left work an hour early at midnight. As I was opening the door, I see this woman coming down the hall, slowly approaching. When she got close enough for me to start making out her clothing, the first thought that went through my mind was, that woman looks so comfortable. She's dressed so nicely. She looks nice. She was wearing a big, huge, thick fur coat. She was an African American woman. Hard to say her age. Her face didn't register age when I could see it. Her fur coat registered, and her hat was beautiful. A nice, big, warm winter hat. Styling. She was styling. That's the first thing I noticed. I watched her slowly shuffling toward me. And when I could make out the features, I was frozen in place. When I could start to make out the features of her face, I realized two thoughts went through my mind. The first one being, I'm paralyzed. I can't move. And then I looked at her face, and it was, the thought that flooded my mind was, this is the most beautiful, beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. And if I had to put an age on her, mid-70s maybe. And when that thought went through my mind, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. She turned toward me. She turned her head toward me, and we locked eyes. And instantly, I was slammed in the back of the neck and spine and the back of my head. It felt like I got hit with a lightning bolt or a baseball bat. It stunned me. Absolutely stunned me. I was locked in place. And without exaggerating, 15 seconds, 20 seconds passed, maybe 30 at the most, before I could move my head a little bit. And first I moved my eyes to the left. And then I turned my head a little bit, and I already knew what I was going to see. What do you think I saw? As that woman walked down the hall toward the morgue, she was gone.